Afternoon.
It does make a lot of sense to me in the sense that the one tool left, if you like, for Rishi Sunak was the element of surprise. The one weapon he had in his arsenal was to surprise us, and he certainly surprised most people today. And that's tribute to a very tight team as well that kept this very tight. So he's got about 24 hours where, he has a bit of a head start because he knows exactly what he wants to do. But after that, it's going to be, a big, bad, ugly, hairy election. But we will know the outcome by the 4th of July.
We will indeed. Do you, the sort of the argument that he set out, the pitch that he set out there, I've got a plan, the other lot haven't, I've made progress, they take us back to square one. How effective a political message is that in your view, Guto?
Well, I don't think it's a bad one. And actually, he did a sort of dress rehearsal, if you like, last week, where basically he was saying, forget the past, look at the future. The future is one of great peril and great opportunity. And who is best placed to, lead Britain into extremely anxious and dangerous times? The Conservatives or Labour, with the Foreign Secretary, for instance, who voted once to get rid of Trident, more than once. And also a world of opportunity. And the world of opportunity is one where there's artificial intelligence that can improve public services, that can drive economic growth, all of that. And he's also trying to regain some of his own success, if you like, that much of the conversation has been about 14 years of Conservative rule. He's had a lot less than that. And in that time, inflation has gone from double digits to just 2%. And so what he's offering is the promise of, a better future versus, the risk of changing horses at this point.
Isn't the difficulty that he and the Conservatives face that a lot of people blame his party for the insecurity they're feeling? It's all well and good him saying, I will deliver security, but people feel that it was the last 14 years that made them feel more insecure in the first place.
It may well be, and of course that's what Labour will say day in, day out. And I think if the Conservatives are shrewd, they'll point out that we hit a global pandemic that took a toll, and then we went to a situation where war in Europe took its toll, and arguably we were better placed to weather that horrendous storm because the Conservative government beforehand had sort of kept a very tight rein on the books. So that will be part of the argument. He will also say that the change from trust to him is a greater change, perhaps, than the change of, political party or complexion in many ways. So it's not 14 years of a uniform Conservative government. He's offering a very different kind of conservatism to what we had with the coalition with the Lib Dems, to David Cameron-led government, to, Theresa May, to Boris Johnson, to Liz Truss. So there has been, a lot of internal change. And he will argue, no doubt, that there's been more internal change in office for the Conservative Party than there has been a genuine overall of the Labour Party in opposition.
Okay, so I've got to ask you about the optics. If you were back in your job as Director of Communications in Downing Street, there is no way on earth, is there, that you would have sent the Prime Minister out into Downing Street in the pouring rain to make an announcement of this magnitude with protesters pumping out 19 shoes in the background. The optics of it were shocking.
You're right about the metaphorical potential of that. No doubt there are better people than you and I, drafting cartoons at the moment and thinking of the catchy strap lines. But it's a tough one. I was walking not a million miles from number 10 in that rain thinking, oh dear, I really wouldn't want to do this. Exactly.
Do it inside.
And inside we wrestled with this with Boris's resignation. Do you want to be out on the streets where people kind of expect that historical moment? I do think, without being sidetracked, there's something about the right to protest cannot be so absolute that you ruin these moments of history, whether you want to see the Conservatives turfed out to power or not. I don't think we need the sort of blaring music. You can protest without sort of ruining these important moments in our democracy, the functioning of a healthy democracy that means that the public now have a chance to give their verdict on a Conservative government, whatever that verdict is an important moment. And I regret the sort of protesters sort of trying to ruin that. As for the rain, I think I would have, probably would have pulled it and gone inside.
Big mistake, if you ask me. Guto, thank you for coming on. Guto Harry there, former Downing Street Communications Director under Boris Johnson.